We're always looking for ways to finish better around the rim, and I personally believe that 2-foot finishes are one of the most underused skills in the game of basketball. And once we understand why they're so effective for finishing around the rim, we can really start to implement them into our games. Let's check it out under the microscope. So first, let's talk about it in terms of stability. When you jump off of 1 foot, you're naturally going to rotate more because, well, one knee is driving up and the other one's pushing off the ground. So you'll see players rotate in midair all the time, and this becomes a problem sometimes with contact. And in terms of stability, this isn't what we want most times. With 2-foot finishes, on the other hand, this just isn't a problem, as you're in a pretty stable position entering the air. So I'd honestly guarantee you that there's a higher conversion rate of and ones off of 2 feet. Plus, with more in-air stability, you have more freedom to do stuff like this.
9. Works against Van Vliet, reverses up and in. What you want to do if you're the Kings is attack the basket.
When we're talking about contact, we can produce more lateral and horizontal forces off of 2 feet, meaning that when we want to create contact as an offensive player, 2 feet is likely the better option because we can project ourselves into the defender with more momentum rather than just straight up in the air. See how Kyrie seeks out the defender's body with 2 feet and is able to be powerful and remain composed in midair? That's because he's the one initiating the contact, and that's much easier to do off of 2 feet. It's also just way more controlled. When you're finishing off of 1 foot, you're 1, more unstable, and 2, leaving the ground quicker, which involves more uncertainty. And I think this is one reason why you see guys like D Rose use these more often, or really any player who begins to play in a more controlled manner as they get older. I'd bet a lot of money that the majority of landing injuries occur as a result of single leg jumps. Also, when you're getting into a 2-foot jump, you have a few more milliseconds to read the defense as you get both feet situated, compared to a 1-foot finish where you're just jumping in stride. Watch how these guys are literally slowing down, scouting the shot blocker, and then jumping accordingly. Plus, they're in control, and they have more time to lock in on that rim. And this works out very well because 2-foot finishes allow you to elevate from slower speeds. 1-foot jumps are very much so based on elastic energy and require some speed to lift into the air. And many times you won't be coming into a finish at full speed, which is where 2-foot finishes can really come into play. And you can take this control a step further by coming to a 2-foot stop, pivoting, and then making something happen in control. Definitely couldn't happen off of 1 foot. One of the biggest benefits that I haven't mentioned yet is the ability to extend out. Rotating the entire body and towards the basket to this level just isn't something you'll see very often off of 1 foot. So if you're even with your defender, sometimes rotating those feet, trunk, and shoulders out into the rim can really get you that separation you need. And not only will this separate you from your defenders, but you'll be able to stretch out and get closer to the bucket, making that finish obviously a lot easier. So this could allow you to jump from further away sometimes. Lastly, 2-foot jumps allow you to change direction with that jump. So Kyrie breaks his momentum here with 2 feet and jumps to the side. This is extremely helpful when maneuvering through bigger teams and defenders. And again, this is not something you'll see off of 1 foot. But keep in mind that it also depends what type of jumper you are. If you're naturally more of a 2-foot jumper, you'll most likely go off of 2 feet on your finishes more often, and vice versa. So some players may need more work to make this natural. So how do we work on these? Well, I've posted a ton of targeted drills towards this skill on my Instagram, so go check these out, and it's also one of the biggest focus in our latest program, the Efficient Score Package, and I'll put that link in the description. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you guys took something from this video, and like I said, follow me on Instagram for much more.